Look, I know. 2024 just started, but listen, this game came to me, alright? You're at the title, so let's get into it. Momodora, Moonlit Farewell. So, Momodora is a series I have never heard of before, probably due to it being a niche indie series that no one seems to often talk about, so enter me! Today I'm going to do my best to present to you the qualities of Momodora with Momodora Moonlit Farewell, because it's the only one I've played. Momodora is an indie Metroidvania series, and all 5, or 6 if we're counting 2019's Minoria, are Metroidvanias. So, if this is your genre, then you're in for a treat today. Moonlit Farewell is the latest installment in the series, which would make it the 5th. Oh no. So, it's safe to say I'm late to the party with this one, and as a result, certain details of the lore, world building, and story went right over my head. But regardless of any of that, this is a game I have still been highly invested in, and have been having a great time with. Momodora boasts a fantastical world with memorable biomes, a simplistic but tricky combat system, an atmospheric soundtrack, and in case you haven't noticed, beautiful 2D pixel art. You play as Momo, a priestess from the village of Koho on a journey to save her people and world from destruction at the hands of demon hordes summoned by the Black Bell. That's just a short story synopsis, and the story does get more complicated and deep as it continues, explaining why things are happening as they are throughout it. Getting into all that here right now will surely give away some spoilers though, which I'm doing my best to avoid. So just take the word of someone who has not followed the lore of the series to this point when I say that it is intriguing, more than it probably sounds. Throughout your journey, you'll encounter dozens of unique demons, with each having their own attack patterns and movesets, all of which you're equipped to dodge with a well-timed combat roll. Time it well enough and you'll score yourself a perfect dodge indicated by this incredibly satisfying glow that grants you a few frames of invulnerability, which you can use to wail on your foes. Now, let's take a moment to look at Momo's weapon of choice here. Upon a glance, you may assume it's some red blade, or maybe even a ribbon if we suspend our disbelief enough. Well, it's neither of those, actually. In fact, it's actually a fallen leaf from a holy tree that has been bathed in your blood. So, yeah. To add on to that, it is said in the item's description that upon the wielder's death, the leaf is ceremoniously burned, which is something I can't help but wish was shown to you when you got a game over, because that sounds pretty damn cool to me. Not showing the actual burning ritual or anything, because that would grow tedious to see every time. Just the leaf burning up as the words game over fade in or something like that would be neat. Now, as questionable as going around smacking demons back down the hill with a leaf sounds, do not underestimate it because every hit it lands feels oh so powerful. Seriously, the feedback is scrumptious. You can feel the smackdown you're laying on your enemies. It's great. And since I'm already somewhat on the topic, let's get around to the combat of the game. Like I said earlier, simplistic but tricky. So you have a multi-hit combo with your blood-stained leaf and a dodge roll that, yes, like Dark Souls, grants you invulnerability when you perform it. The combat might sound as simple as hitting an enemy when it's open and dodging when they attack, but firstly, that's not inherently a bad thing. And secondly, you have a limitless supply of arrows, so if you like to fight with no morals, that's your ticket. Kidding, there's more to it than that, because as I've said, there are dozens of unique demons, each with their own attack patterns and vulnerable states. Some act more like traps that activate upon your passing, others have devastating beam attacks that fire from their eyes but can't move much, and others are annoying little snot rags that hop around doing way too much damage for such an agile enemy. Aside from the various demons you face though, to aid you in your battles are abilities called sigils. These can first be obtained through an NPC ally named Cereza, who you can purchase them from. Depending on the level of bond between Momo and Cereza, additional sigils will be available for purchase, however, most of them you'll have to search about yourself to obtain. The effects of these sigils can vary from increasing attack power, currency being drawn toward you, health being restored over time, or recovering when you pick up currency, to a divine blade sent down from the heavenly clouds of which it splits upon its descent to obliterate any foe of your path.
Miss.
The sigils provide additional strategy and customization to your personal preference of playing, while adding a bit more complexity to how you approach enemy encounters. Should you stick with the game enough though, you'll be granted suspicious snake powers that, at the cost of your stamina, increases your attack speed while changing your combo finisher and allows you to gain crazy height by letting you jump to the moon, so you can no-scope your enemies in style. The gameplay loop of the game is your standard Metroidvania fare. You travel room to room, engaging at platforming challenges, enemy encounters, and even at times challenge rooms where your combat abilities are tested between enemy waves. Things you're going to want to keep an eye out during this are the aforementioned sigils, Cereza, these bell shrines that restore your health and magic. Magic is what you use to heal, by the way, but certain sigils also require magic to activate. Glow spots that are always worth interacting with, trust, and consumable berries. Eat every single one you find. Don't even think about it. You see it, you eat it. As is typical of Metroidvanias I've played, you're very limited in your movement and combat abilities. But as is also typical, this is done intentionally so that when you do achieve the point where you can dash about performing satisfying maneuvers and skips, you feel just as enlightened as you do empowered. All with some of the most buttery smooth controls I've had the joy of experiencing in a 2D game. It's great. You never really know what might be around your area, so explore every nook and cranny, otherwise you could really miss out on upgrades and the sort. See a conspicuously huge hole? Give it the old plunge, there's nothing to regret from it. Trust. Oh, get me out of the hole! Get me out of the hole! Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Do be careful of walking into the wrong room and pissing off the wrong one, though. Huh? Yeah, you know what? Let's talk about the bosses. The bosses of Momodora Moonlit Farewell are all decent challenges, my biggest nitpick with them being how small and predictable a lot of the movesets are. You may get taken by surprise, maybe once or twice by a move or two, but once you get the download on how to avoid them and notice that they use the same moves in the same exact order with rarely any variation, it's unfortunate how anticlimactic some of them can be at that point. Be sure not to get too comfortable though, even after you do get the download, because most moves of these bosses are absolutely devastating, some even causing hit-stun on top of that, so if you get caught lacking even once, you might just be sent straight to the death screen. Everything I've talked about so far have been the things that have been keeping me hooked on seeing the game through, but I'm not done yet, no, not quite. I don't think I've touched enough on the visuals of the game, so let's get around to that now. The world of Momodora Moonlit Farewell, you get the title of the game by this point, why do I keep repeating it? The world is a breathtaking one, brought to life by notable pixel art that makes up mesmerizing backgrounds this game features. Seriously, nearly any one of these would look right at home in an internet pit stop video. There have been numerous points during my time with the game where I've just stopped to take it all in, or would continue moving forward with my eyes nowhere near my player character and instead on the gorgeous scenery around her, admittedly making me an easy target for surprise attacks. This game has an interesting style going for it. Sure, it has these cute chibi-esque characters going for it, but not at all afraid to plunge all of them into dark and grungy locations and biomes brimming with malevolent auras and beings. I love the overall vibe of this game. It always gets me eager to explore further and discover more biomes and areas. I don't often go out of my way to blindly jump into a game in a series I've never heard of prior, but when I opened Steam and this game's promotional page greeted me, it intrigued me enough to make an exception. And it's an exception I'm glad I made. I'm loving Momodora Moonlit Farewell, and I'm honestly not even that big of a Metroidvania guy, but if the rest of the series is really like anything I've been seeing so far, then I will actually go back and check out the other games in the series. But that about wraps this up for the video. It was more of a passion project video because I'm actually blown away by the quality I'm getting from this game. I had little expectations going for it, by the way. Hope you enjoyed it, and maybe even got you at least a little interested in giving the series a look. I'm gonna get right back to playing it now, so Miguel signing off.